Romance Unleashed. I'm Mel, your host, and today we have Brittainy Cherry
Hi.
in the building.
Woof woof. I'm so happy to be here. When I was asked to come, I was like, absolutely. When? Please let me come. So
Yay.
so happy to be here.
Thank you for coming. Brittainy, this is the first time we actually get to meet, I think.
I know. I've been watching you from afar online, and so the opportunity came. I'm like, please, and I can hug you and meet you in person. This is awesome.
Lovely. For those who are new to you, what can you tell us about you?
Yeah, so I've been writing for about almost 11 years, and I've been loving it. I write contemporary romance, angsty, make you cry sometimes type books, and I've been doing it I've been writing since I was 13.
Okay.
I am not good writing when I was 13, but I've always loved romance. I've been a sucker for a good love story ever since I was young. So to do this for a living now is a dream come true.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think my first book by you was the mixtape.
Oh, yes.
Fuck my little heart. I was not prepared. I read somewhere, I love Kennedy Ryan. I had read somewhere, you need to read Brittainy if you love Kennedy. And I was like, oh, yeah. And I'm pretty sure at some point it was on my crying shelf era because I just need everyone to cry with me.
Yeah, to be mentioned in the same sentence as Kennedy Ryan is mind-blowing. But the mixtape is a very special one to me. I wrote it early pandemic when I was going through a breakup. So writing a love story when you're breaking up is quite odd. But if you read the story, it heals so much. Mm-hmm. So those characters, Oliver especially, got me through a heartbreak, so he's special to me.
I love that. I'm just starting to write, but the reader in me, when I went through my divorce, it was really hard, and I think sometimes we don't talk enough about that as a romance reader, as a romance writer. When you're going through heartbreak, how do you continue to write and read when you're like, fuck this happily ever after? You're like, where the fuck is mine at? Excuse my language. Yeah. How was that process for you?
Yeah, it was very strange. Well, thankfully, I had a really great publisher who understood me being delayed because I had a little writer's block. It's hard to write those chapters, but with the types of stories I write, I always say I write the books I write so people don't feel alone. You know, we all go through heartbreak. We all go to losing people we love, be it to death or just them exiting life. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like those are the hardest heartbreaks when they're still walking around and you just lost them. So I decided if I'm going to tell this stories, I want it to have my heartbeats in it. You know what I mean? And even if the heart is beating a little wonky, it's still beating. And that's what I wanted to do with the mixtape.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. I love that. I feel like we can definitely see that through your writing.
Thank you.
Tell us about your newest release.
Yes. Newest one is called The Problem with Players. And it's a baseball romance about two characters who fell in love when they were young, and it came to an end very quickly. Our characters are Avery, who is the head coach of her high school baseball team, and then we have Nathan, who comes back to the small town. He was a professional baseball player, and he comes to coach with her, and she hates it. I wouldn't say enemies to lovers. I would say in her mind, he was an enemy. In his mind, she was the greatest goddess to ever exist, and you couldn't change his mind about it. So the story is about them coming back together and falling in love, learning to let your guard down and let love in, and learning that you don't have to be perfect to be in love.
I think something that was so special about the book was, one, that there was two Black main characters in the baseball world, because I feel like so many baseball stories in romance are centered in whiteness when the statistics in real life are not that way. And so I thought it was really beautiful, not only to the Blackness of it all, but I think that there was also women in sports and the challenges that she has to overcome as a coach in a male-dominated field. Why was that so important for you to tell?
I think with Avery, she struggles a lot with she struggles with depression in the book for many different reasons, but her being in a world where she normally wouldn't exist, coaching baseball for an all-male team, it's like she belongs there, but she has to prove it time and time again. And it's so hard. So often people of color, women of color are seen as the angry, mad black woman or things like that. And it's just so unfair because we're fighting just as hard, if not harder, just to get invited to the table. But the thing about Avery is she's like, screw the table, I'll bring my own. And people kind of don't love that. And some people are like, oh, she's too much. And I don't think she's enough. Like, she could go further. So it was fun playing with her. A lot of times we get the grumpy hero, which we love. And I think in the book world, sometimes we're like, oh, the grumpy hero can do anything.
Right.
And we still, oh, he just killed someone? It's okay. We can forgive that. But if the woman is grumpy, it's like, oh, that was rude. How dare she talk to him? How dare she say no?
Right.
Yeah, or speak up. And then we're much harder on the females.
Yeah.
Which is why I think it's more important to write them. Yeah.
I love that. I think society as a whole is harder on women.
100%.
I think when women show their emotions, we are hysterical. We are too much. But when, men, and at that white men do it, it's a whole different
They're
ballgame.
passionate.
Yeah.
They love what they do. Yeah, you can watch it in sports too. You see these guys have rage fests, breaking rackets or storming off. And then if a woman just throws her hat down, it's like, whoa,
Right.
that's not ladylike, you know? So it's not even. It's not the same energy that we're giving to these guys.
And I think we saw it too recently, or maybe last year, with two of the basketball players, the women basketball players. I can't remember their names right now, but I remember there was like outrage over how the black woman handled it versus how the white woman handled it, and essentially it was the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
And I think it really put into perspective how unfairly sometimes women of color, not sometimes, all the time,
100%.
are being asked to show up when we're not asking white counterparts to do the same thing.
Yeah, and it was very interesting with the basketball because I watched that unfold too with Clark and Reese. And watching how the media spun it was very disheartening. But also, I love that these women are being who they are because now everyone's watching.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're changing to fit a narrative. They're like, no, this is who I am.
Yeah.
And we need to see more people being who they are.
I love that.
It opens a lot more doors.
I agree.
Yeah.
Why this story? Where did the idea come from?
Yeah, this story, The Problem with Players, I wanted to write a story with a hero like Nathan. He is a golden retriever. He is the heart of heart. And I wanted to write a character who stood by his woman's side no matter what.
Yeah.
Because Avery does deal with depression. It goes heavy with her unable to get out of bed. And a lot of those times when you're at the lowest, you feel like you're alone. But for Nathan to be like, no, I'm right here with you.
Yeah.
You want to get on this ride? Let me ride it with you. Like, I will carry you through the storm. And to have characters like that, it's so important because as women, too, I think sometimes we think we are unlovable if we have bad days. Or if we aren't happy in a situation, if we say, hey, I'm not happy, then you're just being too much. Or you're shooting for something that you don't deserve, and it's not true. I'm allowed to be broken and I'm allowed to be loved through it.
Yeah.
So that's why these characters are so important to me because I know so many women who struggle with self-love. So to have a light, like a whisper, he was a whisper to Avery saying, no, I can love you here. Right here where we are, this is where love exists. So they were important to me for that reason.
I thought it was so beautiful how on those hard days when she couldn't get out of bed, he was like, I got you. Like, and I see you. Because I think so often we struggle with how we show up.
Yeah.
And what the outside world sees.
Yeah.
And sometimes nobody sees you.
100%.
And he was so thoroughly throughout the book, like, what is wrong with you when no one else can see that something is wrong with you?
Yeah, and I think that's very special when you have people who can see you when the rest of the world is blind to you. You know, it's so easy to put on a brave face and be like, I'm okay, I'm happy, blah, blah, blah. But then when you have the people who be like, no, but what's wrong? Like, deeply, to be seen is my favorite love language, I think, you know? I just love when people can see through the happy shield. Because so many women are strong, but I want to get the message across that you don't have to be tough to be strong. Sometimes the strongest days of my life is when I cry. and I release the emotions, because if you just keep holding onto it, it builds. And I really believe that holding on to things can change you physically. Like you can become ill from holding on too much. So sometimes the strongest thing is just letting it go, and allowing yourself to feel every feeling.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
What's your favorite way of releasing?
I go to music. I cry. I'm an easy cry though. Like when I say I'm an easy cry, I'll cry over a commercial in a second. But I think
you a Cancer?
I'm a Cancer moon. And a Pisces, so I got some water in me. Yeah, I got water in me. So I cry easy. I feel deep, and I've dated people who are like, I've never dated someone who felt so much, and they said it in kind of a negative way.
Same.
So I would be like, okay, let me pull back on feeling so much, when in reality,
it's not who you are.
It's not who you are. And it's like, I'm a lover girl. I'm sorry. I try to act like I'm not.
Right.
I want to be the hot girl summer, but I ain't got it in me. But no.
But I'm like a hot girl, lover girl summer, please.
Period.
Like,
I love that.
I will be out here with my ass out in a thong.
Yes.
But like, I just want
but
you
I
want
to be loved by you. Like, yeah, I feel that deeply. Oh, yeah.
So I am a Cancer moon and sun. So
you feel a lot.
Oh my God.
You feel it all.
And literally what you just said, like, so post-divorce, I think what has been hardest for me has been, I don't know how to show up as not being someone's wife.
Oh, yeah.
And I was talking to somebody who was also recently separated, and he's a man, and he was like, for him it's the opposite. Like, women love that shit, right? Because he's showing up as everyone's husband, so he has all of South Florida in love with this man.
Yeah.
Where on my end, I'm showing up as someone's wife because I don't know how to reel it back. Now I've learned how to love somebody who I thought I was gonna spend my life with.
Yeah.
I don't know how to reel back from that.
Yeah.
And so like not showing up as someone's wife has probably been the hardest thing, because I'm like, how do I not love fully when that's who I am?
Yeah. Yeah. It's very it's hard. So I've never been married, but I feel like I lived my life like a wife, because I'm like, let me cater to you. How can I help you? How can I show up? And then if you don't get it back, it's like, why am I not good enough? Like, no, you're overstepping, Brittainy.
Yeah.
You're giving yourself away to people who haven't earned it yet, which is really tricky. So I had to relearn how to not give so much, but to also still be me.
Which is really tough, because sometimes you feel like you are not yourself if you're not giving it.
Yeah.
I struggle with the same thing. Like, I don't want to be the first one to text. I don't want to be the first one to do, like, all of these, like, gestures of love. And I've also been told in kind of a negative, like, you feel so deeply. Like, you are so emotional. And I'm like, if I don't show up as that, then I don't know how else to show up.
Exactly. And it's like, communication is my heartbeats. That's how I get things through. So when I'm showing up and I'm being told I'm being too much with my words and my actions, it's like, then who am I? But once you step away from that and you realize, and you're by yourself, and you're like, okay, who am I? I am the girl who feels deeply, and that's not a bad thing. It's not bad to feel so deeply and to express it. I've just learned to express it in safe places. Not everyone deserves to see your deepest parts, because some people will try to water you down. And when you start to get watered down, you kind of lose sight of who you are, because I've learned my emotions is why I write the books I write. My emotions are why I'm able to go deep in the feelings of it. Yeah. And people are like, have you been through this situation? I'm like, no, but I can imagine.
Right.
I can imagine how hard it would be to get out of bed sometimes. I can imagine how hard it is to love someone who doesn't love you back, who leaves you for someone else. Like, I understand those deep feelings. Yeah. And it turned out my feelings of being too much was actually a hidden superpower. Yes. And once you lean into it, it's like freeing.
Yes. Yeah. I agree. I was recording a podcast the other day, and I kind of came to the realization as I was recording it, and I was like, I've always been told that I like feel too much. I'm too emotional, but like, if I'm not feeling, I'm dead. Yeah. And like, I don't. Yeah. I rather live a life where I have felt and I have cried and I have let the emotions run through me than a life where I have not felt my feelings.
100%. And you never look back like, oh, I wish I loved them less. No. It's never. Me and a good author friend, Candy Steiner, wrote a poetry book called A Love Letter from the Girls Who Feel Everything.
Oh, I love
because we feel everything. And for so long we were afraid to feel it, but no, you are allowed to feel, you are allowed to cry, you are allowed to celebrate and be happy. There's so many amazing feelings, and if we forbid ourselves to feel them, we're missing out on life. I didn't come here just to be happy, I came here to feel it all.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check out this poetry book.
It's a good one. Yeah. Candy makes me cry easily, so she's my girl.
Let's talk about love triangles.
Let's talk about it. How
do you feel about them?
In real life, no. In books, absolutely. I love inks. I love when the characters challenge me.
Yeah.
To rethink my own thoughts, like, I shouldn't like this, but I'm really into this.
Yeah.
And I love the push and pull. I always feel a little heartbroken for the one who doesn't get the girl.
Yeah.
So why choose? I don't know. Keep them both.
The only thing I'd say about love triangles is that when I go and reading one, I need to spoil myself and figure out who they're going to end up with. Yeah. Because if I'm falling in love with the wrong couple, I'm going to be so fucking hurt that, like, I just need to know who we end up with, and then we're good.
Yeah,
like,
it's more painful than, like, a real-life breakup. It's like, wait, she chose who?
Yeah.
Let me write her real quick and
like,
please, rethink
can
that.
We not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I think love triangles, for me, I think it's the angst, but it's also, like, there's so many deep emotions, and so many, like, real deep emotions of, like, did I make the right choice? Mm-hmm. Is this the right person for me? That, like, just, like, cater to my little Cancer heart.
And then in the end, you're still wondering, okay, she chose him, but what if she chose the other one?
Right.
Can we get the other ending where she chose him? Let's see what that would be like. Yeah, I get that deeply.
What, have you read many, or?
No, I haven't read many. One of my favorite is by Candy. It's What He Doesn't Know. And then it's a 2-book series, you guys.
I read it, and literally, like, I started and I could not put it down.
Stressed.
Yeah.
The whole time.
And the ending
Obsessed.
of book 2 with the kid's birthday party, I was like, oh.
I feel, I won't spoil it because all of you should go read it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's outstanding, but the whole ride through, you feel every step of it. And I was rethinking my own thoughts. I'm like, wait.
Yeah.
Is it him? Because I think it's him, but...
Yeah.
Now I'm looking over here.
Yeah.
And the way she writes, it's so deep. And I could go on Candy Steiner for years. But she's so talented at making you be as confused as the leading lady. You struggle just as much as she does.
Yeah, definitely when I was reading, I was like... But that's my husband. But that's my...
exactly.
And
exactly.
I'm like, at the time I was happily married, and I was like, I don't even have someone else in here.
Right.
Like, I'm like, are you the right one? Like, what are we doing? Well, clearly he wasn't, but...
Yeah. Well, we're here now. Cancers. But, no, but for real, it takes you on a ride.
Yeah.
So I need more, too. So if anyone has any recommendations.
Have you read Kennedy's?
Which one?
It's the first 2 books in... God, what is that series called? They just got re-released by Forever, but the first 2 books are a love triangle. Yeah, and same. You're like, and this one is 2 guy best friends.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that just stressed out my heart.
I know.
Okay.
And like the one guy who's not with her meets her, like, I can't remember where, but it was like a really like special interaction, and then he finds out that that's his like best friend's girl. Okay,
that's my next read on it.
And what I love about both this series and Kennedy's is that the other characters who are involved also get their happily ever after.
Yes.
So I think for those who are sometimes don't want to read the love triangle because like one person doesn't end up happening, both of these series have a way to get the happily ever after for everyone.
Which is so my style, because then you don't feel sad, because once you read their book, you're like, oh, it was never supposed to be her anyways.
Yeah.
She was just a stopping point to the happily forever after.
Right.
I love that. Yeah.
For people who are new to your writing, where should they start?
Okay, so great question. I have a few different answers for this. I think the mixtape is a great start to see how I write emotions. It's one of my favorite books, maybe because it came from such an authentic place in my heart. Another one, I will say, I have my Element series. A lot of people know me from that one.
I read the first one.
Oh, The Air He Breathes. Yeah, and we just finished filming that movie, which is I cried on set every single day I was there. I was just,
That's
it's
so
like, who wrote
exciting.
this sad thing? My gosh. It was so sad. It was really weird watching it come to life. But that's a good series to start with. But you can start, the characters don't connect.
Right.
So you can read them in any order. And my favorite one from that is The Silent Waters. It talks about a girl who loses her voice. And Maggie May is very close to my heart because I struggled with speech my whole life. There's still words I can't pronounce. So writing my voice into her story where she doesn't speak for the book was very important to me. So that one I hold close to my heart. So those are good starting points. Yeah. They're emotional, but worth it, I think.
Tell us about the filming of the movie. What was that process like? The optioning, were you involved in the process? What was it like?
Yeah, so I sold it to Passionflix, which has been the most amazing experience for me. I've been very blessed with that. We sold it back in 2021. Okay. Early 2021, I think we announced it. And then, pandemic, and then the strike happened and everything just kind of slowed down. Right. So I was just like, okay, well, it's cool just to have an option and people. But then this past February, I got an email and they said, okay, we're filming it now. I'm like, oh, okay. And they're like, I'm like, when? They're like, in 2 months. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. But the cool thing with Passionflix is they take romance movies and turn them into films. Mm-hmm. So they have the authors along each step of the way. Every version of the script I saw, I got to give my notes. I changed anything I didn't like, which isn't very normal. Right. Normally when a author sells their book, it's just like, I hope they do well with it, and I hope you treat it with the love I love it with. But Passionflix is very involved with the authors, which is so powerful, and it's led by a woman team. And there's something about seeing women in power. I thrive on it. So then they let me help pick the cast and everything. The first cast member I picked was the dog. Little Zeus, they gave me different versions. I'm like, this is real now. This is really crazy. And then
did they give you did you get to meet all the dogs? Or?
No, they sent me videos of the dogs and the actors and everything. I would have loved to meet them all though. I'm a dog girl. But so yeah, I was there every step of the way. And then when we were filming, I was invited to set every day. I went to set and I cried every single day. I told you I'm in Cancer Moon, the water signs, but it was surreal to watch your heartbeats and your words being said by actors who are so gifted and talented. Yeah. I'm blown away by the cast that I have. So it was just a dream come true, for real.
What was your favorite part of the whole process?
My favorite part was probably working with Rachel, the director. Okay. She is a brilliant mind, and the respect she gave to me as an artist, and she's like, the first call I had with her on Zoom, the first thing she said to me is, Brittainy, this is a love letter to you. I'm making this for you. And I'm like, oh man, don't cry. This is the first time you're meeting this girl. So after we hung up, I cried. But the way she held my hand through it all was just so special, and she's so gifted at what she does. She has an eye for things. Like, if I ever felt uncomfortable about something before we filmed it, I'm like, I don't know, does this read as corny and blah, blah, blah? And I know I wrote it, but sometimes reading and seeing, not the same thing. And she's like, just wait till you see how they do it. And then they do it, and I'm like, oh, that is so good. And so working with her and being able to, I don't know, even shadow her, because she would teach me so many things about the film world when she didn't have to say a thing. It was just very special to see a woman at that level welcome me and be so warm.
When will it release?
Late summer, which is wild to think about. Yeah. I'm very excited. It's very emotional, and the team from Passionflix was like, this is something very different than what we've done already. And the way they filmed it too, we had an amazing DP, the director of production, who filmed it, and it's the most beautiful filming, the lighting and everything. It's you feel every piece of it. So when it releases this late summer, it's gonna be amazing.
Where was it filmed at?
We filmed right outside of Atlanta in a small town in Atlanta.
Oh, that's gonna be so special.
Oh my goodness, it was very surreal.
Are there any other books in the works that are being turned into movies?
Well, there are conversations going on. I can't really say much, but there are some that make me so excited for when I can share. But there's a few things in the works.
Oh, that's so exciting. Yeah. What, as far as writing, what's next for you?
Yeah, so I am doing the third book in the Problem series, which will be the last sister, Willow, and Nathan's brother, Evan.
Is Evan the one with...
the grumpy butcher.
Is he the one with the kid?
With the kid. Yes, the single dad.
I fucking love a single dad.
I love a good single dad.
And the way that he ended in, like, the first book, I was like, oh, he's still in my heart.
Yeah, I can't wait for them. They are the most... opposites. If we have a vegan and a butcher shop owner, like they are as opposite as you can get, but watching them fall in love is going to be a thrill for me.
I love that.
Yeah.
When will book 2 release?
Book 2 for
The Problem.
This was book 2, actually.
This was book 2.
Yeah.
Which one was
the first book was The Problem with Datings, with this Yara and Alex. Yeah.
Okay. I felt like I was missing something when I was reading it because, like, I was like, well, they're already happy, so who else?
Well, how are they already happy?
Like,
I kind of pitched it as a standalone. This book, The Problem with Players. I kind of pitched it that way, but no. So, Problem with Players is the second book. First one, Problem with Dating, with this Yara and Alex's story, and then the third one is The Problem with Falling, which is Willow's story.
Oh, Willow's story is gonna be so great.
Oh, it's gonna be so funny. She is a riot.
Yeah.
It's gonna. I'm saying it's gonna be funny, but I'll probably make people cry. But
absolutely,
100%.
But she does have like a specific personality that I think there will be more laughter.
Yeah.
But it's probably also gonna be just as heart-wrenching.
Yeah. I feel like the banter between those two, because he's grumpy. Like, he's as grumpy, but he loves his kids too. Like, he is a single dad through and through. Like, that's his life. But watching him and Willow tango together will be a lot of fun.
There was like a couple of, or maybe just like 1 or 2 scenes where you see them banter, and Willow's so like humor dry with him, and he's like,
he just doesn't get it. Like, he's like, what's wrong with you? Like, so once he finally figures out who she is, he's gonna be so pissed that he loves her. It's like, gosh, you're such a weirdo, and I'm obsessed. So that was gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited for it.
I love that. So you've recently been picked up traditionally published.
Yes.
How has that been different from your indie pub journey?
I've been very blessed. I was picked up by Casablanca at Source Books. And it's just been really, really cool. My Element series got picked up by them to see my books in bookstores in the U.S. Walking into a store and seeing my name on the shelves, I feel like every author dreams of that day. And I've been at it for 10 years before it even happened. You know, like, I think sometimes we get lost at seeing people's success and thinking it was an overnight thing. It's like, no, this took 10 years and a lot of almost quitting to get here. So to have a publisher pick it up and push it as hard as they are, it's a dream come true. They've been really great to work with. They're very they take care of their authors, and we have a voice, which sometimes people lose once you sell your rights. So they've been amazing to work with. I have an amazing editor who I adore.
I love that. Do you have any other books in the works with them? Yeah,
so we have one frontlist book called If You Stay, coming out next year. That's an emotional one.
I feel like that's gonna make me
That's an emotional one. But
what's it about?
How will you break me this time, Brittainy? It's about a woman who's in an toxic marriage, and she has a daughter who she stays for, and it's a lot of push and pull. And then her old lover from when she was younger comes back into the picture, but he lost his memory, so he doesn't remember that they were in love.
Oh, fuck.
And I'm gonna take you through it. So he has and he's the architect building the new home for this family, and she's like, well, you were the one who got away, and he has no clue. So it's fun. It's So it's called If You Stayed, and it's a very emotional powerhouse book. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped for this one.
Does he get his memory back?
I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll see what happens.
If he does it, I mean, as long as he falls in love with her again,
Yeah.
I am so stressed about this.
Yeah,
Now. When does this come out?
I am stressed too. It comes out April of next year.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Soon enough.
Yeah,
Okay.
I dived into this one. I'm like, all right, if we're gonna do angst, we're gonna do angst, and he's such a wonderful lead. He kind of has some of the traits of Nathan from The Problem with Players. Just a good guy who wants good, but he's also a little confused as why he feels so pulled to someone else's wife. It's like, why do I? What is this about you that I? Because his soul recalls.
It's
the mind that does it.
Wife portion for me.
Yeah. Which is tricky, hey?
Yeah.
But no, it's good. I promise you. If you know my books, you know to trust me.
Okay.
And I will walk you through every step of this love. I promise you. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be
ready
good.
to cry, April 2025.
Here we go. I am ready. I just finished a round of edits on it, and I'm like, what's wrong with me? But I'm excited for where it goes.
Do you find that with every story you like release?
Yeah. I sometimes release feelings I didn't even know I was feeling. Sometimes the characters take me places I don't want to go. You know, sometimes it's hard to go that deep.
Yeah.
And that's why even last year I'm like, I think I'm gonna be a rom-com girl. Like, it's hard. It's hard to write really heavy books. It's hard to not lose yourself in it.
Yeah.
Because when I started writing, like when I wrote The Air He Breathes, I was going through grief myself. I lost my grandmother and my aunt passed away the day after. So, and this was in my 20s, and I was blessed to make it to 26 without losing anyone in my life.
Yeah.
But those first loss, you're walking in a cloud and you don't even know it's still raining. You're lost. So when I wrote The Air He Breathes, it was like healing because the main character goes through the grief of losing two people, and
Right.
I didn't realize I wrote Tristan Cole as me until we were on set, and there's a scene in The Air He Breathes where he's standing in his shed, and the shed stands for his wife and his son that he lost. So when we were on set and I walked into the shed, which is Tristan's heartbeat in the book, which was my heartbeat, I just started crying because it's like, oh, this was the healing I was looking for, and now I'm standing in it. And so each book heals something in me, even when I didn't know I was broken. So it's a blessing to do what I do. It's hard some days to go that deep, to feel so much. As you know, as a woman who feels, it's hard some days, but the reward of it is always worth it. You come out stronger and wiser, and you know yourself in ways you didn't before.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a superpower. Okay. Fuck, marry, kill.
Okay, here we go.
Fuck, marry, kill any trope.
Oh, okay. I'm going to marry a grumpy sunshine. I love grumpy sunshine. I'm a fuck enemies to lovers. Let me my thing with enemies to lovers is I love where they pretend like they don't want it. They're like, ugh, she's gross, but I want to love you forever. Like those moments, like watching as a reader, watching them fall in love and try to deny it.
Yeah.
Eat that up. Yes, let me fuck you. Love it. And who am I killing? That's a hard one. As a reader, I would say, oh gosh, that's so hard. That's so hard.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, I will say small town, but I write so many small towns and I love it. So I don't know if I would kill any, and I feel like that's such a cop-out answer. But I feel like no matter the trope, if the writer does it right, you know, I guess I haven't read a lot of. I don't know. This is so hard. I don't know. I've never read alien romance. Is that a trope? Does that count?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
But then I might read it and be like, no, fuck this. Yeah. Let me marry you. So, no, I don't know. I kind of take it all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why choose?
White. Amen. Amen.
I'm more of like a kill a baby trope. That just
Oh, yeah.
like a secret
yeah.
baby, like
Secret
pregnancy.
Baby. Yeah, those ones are tough.
There's just, if it's done right, or if it's like at the very end.
Yeah.
But like,
dropping it in the middle
Yeah, I
too
don't want
kind of
it.
throws it off. I agree with that too. Okay, yeah, I'll say that.
thank you.
Killing-
I'm glad I could sway you to the right
Yeah,
side.
thank you. Yeah, no, and I haven't read many of them too. Like I've
Same.
picked some up. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But some people love them.
Yeah.
So there's a market for
Yeah,
everything.
definitely.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like a breeding kink involved in there.
There you go. There you
know?
go.
I mean,
I'm gonna stick to my grumpy though.
yeah.
I love a good grumpy
Yeah.
man. Except in real life. Like if some of my characters said what they said to me in real life, I would be like, sir.
I'm currently
I will fight
dealing
you.
with a very grumpy man, like truly, and it's not that fun.
Yeah.
It's not that fun.
It's
at
not
all.
as romantic and
No,
sexy
at all.
as it
And,
is
like,
in books.
It's like almost he realizes he was an asshole, so he like finds little ways to like apologize after without apologizing.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just kind of like, my guy, just go to therapy.
Have you heard of therapy?
Please.
Yeah. No, in the books it's like, yes, speak mean. And it's like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
actually,
no, in real life,
you need help.
especially as a Cancer. I'm like,
Right. Do not make me
you
cry.
didn't say good morning.
Right. Where's my good morning text? You hate me? Why?
No,
okay.
like in person, he is not someone like in real life. Like you cannot speak to this man for the first hour because
Oh
he's
my
just not a morning person.
Goodness.
And you'll be like, "Good morning," he'll be like,
Is
and I
it?
didn't even know if, like men could really like grunt like
Yeah.
that until him, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
you're like the books, and I always was like, a book boyfriend. No, no, they're
Yeah,
not.
because in my mind, in the books, it's like he hates everyone but her. But then, like in real life, it's like, oh no,
I think you hate me.
no,
too.
I think you
Like,
hate.
I don't think
I
I'm
think you
part-
hate me the most.
Yeah.
Like this is new. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Talk to you later. Afternoon. Okay.
Yeah, like after like 9. Cool.
Definitely.
My God. Okay, cool. What else do I want to ask?
You can ask me anything.
Okay.
Open
So
book.
at the beginning of the conversation, you mentioned that when you wrote the mixtape, you were going through a heartbreak.
Yes.
Are we on the other side of that heartbreak?
We are definitely on the other side. I took a lot of years just to be with me.
Okay.
Because as I said, I am a lover girl, but I wanted to give that same love to me for a while because I never did that. And therapy and healing journey really changes the way I go about dating now.
Okay.
And I realize every situation is a situation to learn yourself a little bit more. So I am currently dating and getting to know people, but why choose? Thank you. You get me. I feel like this summer of 2024, I want it to feel like a 90s R&B song. You know, I just want to live life. I want to be outside. Mariah Carey fantasy.
But like a 90s R&B song could also be like very lover girl. So
I know, and I say that because inside that's what I want. I want to find my person. I want to find the person who gets me and will say, yeah, you're emotional, but I love you the way you are.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. So yeah, guys are weird. It's dating now is weird.
Why men?
Well, I mean, and I love them, which is annoying, and I get pissed at myself daily
Same.
for it.
Like, God damn.
But I think there's some good ones out there. So
Are you on dating apps?
yeah, I am. I
I
am.
Yeah.
I go through the waves of them. Like I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy it, but then I don't leave my house and the
How do you meet people?
how do you meet people? And so and most of my friends are in relationships with kids and married and stuff. So it's like, okay, let me try these apps again. And it's like digging through dirt to find diamonds, and sometimes you find them, sometimes you find out they're fake diamonds.
Yeah.
But it's a learning curve, and I'm having fun right now. I found some good ones, so
Okay.
we'll see. Only time will tell.
Yeah, what are some of your red flags on someone's dating profile?
If they say I'm 6'3" because that matters, it's like, okay, sir, you don't have to push it. It's cool.
Yeah.
And then you meet them and it's like, you're not 6'3". Okay, it's cool. Whenever I meet people, they're like, you're much taller than I thought. I'm like, no, you're just shorter than you said.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. I won't wear heels. It's okay.
Yeah.
But are guys who are just very like cocky.
Anyone who says to me like in their profile that they want a traditional woman, I'm like, ew, please. Like go back to 1349. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, are the ones who are like, I like fit women and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I'm a curvy girl. I'm like, but you swiped on me, so
Yeah.
do you even know what you like? You don't know
Right.
what you like. Yeah, the guys who just come off cocky, or they think they're really clever and it's just kind of weird what they're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's anyone who only has sunglasses in their pictures because, like, my guy, what do your eyes really look like?
Yeah.
If you're only wearing hats, like, I'm good with bald dudes. And
Yeah,
it's
same.
okay, babe. Like,
Same.
you know, we're
Take the
aging.
hat off.
Take
Here we
it
are.
off.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like, please.
Yeah.
Because what I don't want is to then show up to this date and I'm looking for someone with hair.
And you have no
And
clue.
Yeah, and
He's
I have
not
no
there.
idea who you are.
And they're like, hi, I'm
like, can you put your hat on so I
Aaron.
can recognize you?
Yeah.
Like, please. let's not do
100%.
that.
100. A lot of guys in Wisconsin are holding fish in their pictures. We have a lot of professional fishers in Wisconsin, which is fine, but like they really take it seriously. I have a seafood allergy, so I'm like, I'm really proud of your fish, but I can't eat it. Sorry. So yeah, there's a lot of fishing guys up in the Midwest.
Interesting. I feel like down here I see a lot of like gym bros. And there's a lot of like looking for like my gym partner and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to go to the gym with you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I
I'm
want to
not.
fuck you. I don't
Yeah.
want to go to the gym with you. Like,
That's a workout too.
like you
That
know,
could be a workout.
Exactly.
You can burn a lot of calories.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like we can wear our Apple Watches and everything.
Kill
That
it.
could be that.
Kill it. Hit your zone minutes. Hit the zone minutes. No, for real. And I feel like too, like, I'm not a hiker. I like, if the guy's like, oh, first date, let's go hiking. I'm like,
Absolutely
one, I think you're a serial killer now. I don't know why, but like, yeah, let me take you into the woods. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, can we go for coffee?
Right.
Like, something not
Yeah.
crazy. So yeah, dating apps are an
They're-
adventure.
Yeah, they're very interesting.
I know a lot of my friends though who met guys on dating apps and they're married and happy and I'm like, must be nice.
Yeah, same. I hadn't used dating apps prior to marriage, so it was post marriage that I was like, oh fuck, I guess, because I also never leave my house. Now I'm
Yeah.
trying to be a little bit more intentional about leaving the house.
Same.
But then I also was like, oh, let me just open a bookstore and maybe he'll just walk in. You know, like,
So
maybe
far,
I
so
could
good?
just- no,
No.
nothing. And so now I'm trying to be more intentional about leaving my house. I'm like, that's like a whole fucking
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Because like I don't want to.
Yeah,
I
and
don't want to.
I need to leave my house and actually look like I want to talk to people too. Like, oh, I have to look
Yeah,
presentable.
like I have to-
Okay.
and like smile.
Oh,
Like
no, I smile a little too much though. And people are like, you like me? I'm like, no, it's my nervous habit. I'm just smiling.
I'm the opposite. I look like I'm mad most of the time, and really inside I'm like happy, or as happy as I can be on a regular day.
Yeah.
But that's probably not what I put out. So
Yeah, my opposite actually is, so when I'm mad, I'll cry. And they're like, are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm pissed off. Like,
Yeah.
stop looking at me like I'm sad. I'm mad. I'm angry. So that's how, yeah, my face doesn't really show what I'm feeling all the time.
that's good though, because
Is it?
sometimes, because I feel like sometimes you can be too transparent with your face.
That's true.
You know,
That's
like
true.
me. It's like you can tell right away.
You know
when
what's going on?
It's terrible, and I'm like
Yeah.
trying to work on the poker face, but it's just not working out for me.
Yeah.
Have you gone on any really good dates?
I have gone on some really great dates before. I feel like for me, I have a rule. Like, before I go on first dates, I need to know what you sound like and I need to talk on the phone with you. Because sometimes you can talk online and have good back and forth, then you get on the phone call and it's nothing.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, now we're going to sit across from each other for
Right.
dinner and it's
Yeah.
just weird. But I have gone on some good ones. I went to, like, he took me out to a very fancy dinner and then to a jazz club. And that was really nice. I'm a music girl.
Nice.
Yeah, no, yeah. That was fine. But that was a good one. And then I've done like Top Golf.
Okay.
I think like activities are really good for me. Because then I can be like, how do you hold a golf club?
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are I like the fun activities.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't love a coffee date, because I don't know, I need at least an hour and a half to see if I like you. I want a second date, you know. That's where I am. You?
No, not any really. Oh, that's a lie. I'm very much a conversation person.
Yeah.
There's someone I went on a date with. We just went to go get like frozen yogurt, but after we sat in the car and talked for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I was like, the cancer in me was like, okay, well, we can get married
Same.
tomorrow.
Same.
Like, we can set it up at the bookstore.
Yeah.
It's cool. So there's been that. Then there was one where I went and like he didn't show up for like 3 hours, and I was only still there because I was watching football. And so I was like, well, if I'm already out here, like, I'm just gonna fucking finish watching this game and go home. And he showed up, and I was like, I'm calling my Uber.
Right,
guy.
I am leaving.
No, like 3 hours,
yeah.
please.
Tell
me you have a wife without telling me you have a wife and you couldn't get away at the right time.
Yeah. The one first date where I felt like I was in a romance novel. So I showed up early to the bar. I'm sitting at the bar, and the guy shows up like 15 minutes late. And I have a drink. I'm talking to the bartender. It's fine. He walks in and sits down, and then he's like, wait, I'm going to go to the bathroom. He goes to the bathroom. The bartender, gorgeous guy, walks over to me. He said, I just need you to know he brings a different woman here every week. Like, this is his spot where he does this. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then he's like,
wait, this is kind of like a la Danielle Allen.
Yeah, the Curvy Girl Summer. Yeah, and it really happened. And then he ended up giving me his number. And then I had to sit through the date, and this guy didn't know. The bartender like told on him, and then I went out with the bartender a few times. But it was very,
nice.
yeah, it was very. He was like, just so you know, this is his thing, and I'm like, ugh, and he's late, so it was a whole thing.
Are you still talking to the bartender?
No, that was years ago, but. It was a good moment.
I mean, that's literally like the Neil Allens.
Mm-hmm.
Except they take a really long time to get each other's phone number.
They take each other. You guys, Curvy Girl Summer is phenomenal. It comes out this June. And Danielle Allen, I've been in love with I've been in love with her books for so long. The One is one of my favorite books ever. But Curvy Girl Summer, I read it earlier this year. Fantastic. And it's good at to see a curvy plus size woman of color get the love she deserves and just live in herself in such a special way. Yeah. It was really special.
Yeah.
She's so gifted.
When he shows up at the end.
I read that book so fast. I tore through it.
Yeah.
It's a 10 out of 10 perfection for me.
What are you reading right now and loving?
I'm reading The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. They are so funny and clever, and
I could never write a rom-com.
I could never. I think I can, and then I kill someone. I don't know what happens. It's like, oh, that's funny, and my friends are like, Brittany, no. It's like, okay. But so I think that's why I love reading rom-coms, though, because it's such a different art. And it's so easy to be funny in person, but to be funny in books and have it hit with hundreds of people reading it, that's so hard. Yeah. It's such a gift. And I'm listening to theirs, and their narrators are just out of this world talented. And I'm sitting here laughing in my car. I'm like, this is fantastic. So Christina Lauren, comedy gold.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Brittany, thank you so much for coming on the pod today.
Thank you so much.
It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you.
Where can people find you?
Yeah, I'm mostly on Instagram at bcherryauthor. You can find all my books at bcherrybooks.com. And yeah, I'm floating around TikTok every now and then. But mostly Instagram is where you can find me.
Lovely. Well, thank you for listening and joining us on another episode of Romance Unleashed. You can follow us on Romance Unleashed Pod on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify, all of the things. Thank you. Until the next episode.